and welcome to this Wolsey Hall Oxford homeschooling information webinar. We have families joining us from all around the globe today, so a big welcome to you all. I'm Rachel Hearn, Flexible Learning Advisor here at Wolsey Hall. Just to let you know, we are recording the webinar and will send out links to the recording to you all a few days after the event. The emails will come via a Zoom email rather than a Wolsey Hall email address. The format for today will be a presentation followed by a question and answer session. You will find the question and answer area where you can type your questions at the bottom of your screens. We would, however, recommend that you wait until after the presentation before adding questions to the Q&A, as we expect many of your questions will be covered during the presentation. Please note, we will not be answering any questions that are specific to an individual child today. For these types of questions, please submit an inquiry form from our website and our admissions team will be delighted to help you. We'll be putting up the website address for the inquiry form at the end of the presentation section. I'm joined here today by a number of colleagues who will be answering questions, both in the Q&A area and live in the discussion. But I'd like to introduce you to Christine Armstrong, who is the head of primary, who will be giving the presentation. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Christine, who will give a presentation on Wolsey Hall Oxford.
Thank you very much, Rachel. And I'd like to extend my welcome as well to all of you who have joined us today. So just to start off, I'd just like to share with you, you may have seen on our website already, that we are a Cambridge registered international school. So we are registered to offer the educational programmes of Cambridge. And it also means that should your child stay with Wolsey Hall through their entire learning journey, then we are also qualified to provide the examination programs that lead to external exams that are globally recognised. We are very proud to let people know that we were the first ever registered Cambridge International Primary School. So we were really pleased to work with Cambridge to achieve that status with them. Just for your reference, we are also a Pearson Virtual Centre as well. And this means that, again, should your child stay with Wolsey Hall for a long time and reach the examination stages, that we are able not only to provide Cambridge examination programmes, but we're also able to provide Pearson EdXL examination programmes. And Pearson EdXL are another of the globally recognised examination bodies in the world. Just for your reference, as well as following Cambridge curriculum in all of those subjects where Cambridge offer the curriculum, we also adhere to the English national curriculum as well. So our different subjects follow the English national curriculum and Cambridge International curriculum where the subjects are available with Cambridge. So a little bit about Wolsey Hall, just to start us off. Wolsey Hall has been around for a very long time. It was actually founded in 1894. And as you can imagine, it looked very different when it first started out. So you'll be very pleased to know that we've moved on from hand-scribed notes being written in lecture halls and sent out using the penny postal service here in the UK through to a fully integrated online learning experience for our students. We cater for students from 3.5 to 4 years old, all the way through to 18 years old with our courses. And we also have a number of mature students as well that study with Wolsey Hall too. So as you can imagine, we have an extraordinary alumni of students all based all around the world. And we are currently in over 130 countries in terms of our student base that we are supporting through the Wolsey Hall programs of study that we offer. You may notice there is a photo on screen of Nelson Mandela, and we are really proud to be able to include Nelson Mandela amongst our alumni here at Wolsey Hall. But we are incredibly proud of each and every student that has been part of the Wolsey Hall family for some or for all of their learning journey through education. So why might you choose Wolsey Hall if you are making the decision to homeschool your child or children, or maybe you are already homeschooling? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. Not first and foremost, but first of all, I'd just like to mention that certainly post-COVID, but to a degree before COVID as well, there is such a wealth of information around curriculum learning and the learning that's needed for primary age children that you can find online. But it's very overwhelming. There is so much of it, not always accurate and not always covering the correct content that your child will need to build the foundation to lead on to those examinations I mentioned when they are older. The Wolsey Hall courses are tied to both the English National Curriculum and to Cambridge curriculum as well, and in later years also Pearson Edexcel, where that is the examination body being used. And that's really important because it's important that your child is covering the correct content to make sure that they have the right knowledge, understanding, and skills that are needed for those external examinations that they will take further down the line. So you can be assured with Wolsey Hall that we have done that work for you already in terms of producing courses for you to follow at home that will cover all of the content that you need to be successful in those ultimate examinations further down the line. We are also really wanting to build strong relationships with our families. We believe that any family joining Wolsey Hall is a three-way partnership, and that partnership is between Wolsey Hall, the family, and the student. And we work really hard to make sure that that partnership is as positive an experience as can be, and that it is hugely supportive of your child. Another reason for choosing Wolsey Hall is that Wolsey Hall is incredibly flexible in its approach to supporting students at home. We offer flexibility in the year group that your child can join. We offer flexibility of when you start your courses with Wolsey Hall. We offer flexibility in what subjects you can choose with Wolsey Hall. And we offer flexibility in moving milestones for your assignments, which I'll talk about in a later slide. So we believe that our approach to supporting students and families with their homeschooling journey provides the ultimate flexibility to wrap around the circumstances, the level of ability of your child and your personal home situation, so that you can fit Wolsey Hall into your current way of living and your current learning journey. So I hope that gives you a flavour of why we think Wolsey Hall is a really good choice for you and your child. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the different phases we have here at Wolsey Hall, so that you can identify which phase might be the starting point for your child. So you can see here we start with lower primary, and that covers 3 year groups. It covers getting ready for year 1, so a pre-primary level, then years 1 and year 2 of a school system, if you were based here in the UK, that's what they would be referred to as year 1 and year 2. And typically, this phase is for children who would be 3.5 to 4 years old through to 7 years old if they were in a physical school setting here in the UK. We then move on to upper primary, and this covers 4 different year groups. So it's year 3, 4, 5, and 6. And in a mainstream school setting, you would enter this phase at 7 years old, and you would complete this phase at 11 years old. And then you would move on to your secondary education. And this all begins in lower secondary. And lower secondary covers 3 year groups. They are called year 7, year 8, and year 9. And in a mainstream school setting here in the UK, you'd start this journey at 11 years old and you'd complete it at 14 years old. Once you have completed these phases, you then move on to the phases that are known as the examination years. And it starts with your GCSE or IGCSE. I just stands for international. And this is covering what we call year 10 and year 11. In a mainstream school setting, you start at 14 years old and you would take your exams when you are 16 years old. So our GCSEs and IGCSEs, they are globally recognized qualifications that your child would be achieving at the end of this GCSE, IGCSE phase. Then we move on to the final phase of Wolsey Hall, which is the A-level phase. And this is known as years 12 and 13. And if you're in a physical school here in the UK, you would start this phase at 16 years old and you would complete your examinations when you are 18. So a key difference in the phases is that lower primary, upper primary, and lower secondary, every course in these phases represent one academic year of study in a mainstream school. So if you were taking an upper primary course and you were doing year 4 maths, the completion of that year 4 maths course would be the same content and same curriculum coverage as being in a year 4 maths class in a mainstream school for an academic year. So once you complete your A-levels with Wolsey Hall and you have your exam results, then that takes our students on to either higher education, if they have made applications to universities and colleges, or they start their career and they move into employment, but with those qualifications to help them to find the right job. So I hope that gives you an idea of the journey through Wolsey Hall, and you can identify maybe where your child's starting phase might be, even if you're not sure of exactly what year they would start at, your child belongs to. So how do our courses work? So our courses are housed on our learning platform, and our learning platform is called Canvas. So if you were to join Wolsey Hall and your child is enrolled onto a subject with Wolsey Hall, then as part of your enrolment, you would be given a login to our Canvas learning platform. And when you log into the Canvas learning platform, you would be able to see straight away the courses relating to the subjects that you have signed up to with Wolsey Hall and at the right year group level. Those courses you work through at home with your child. So a key difference between primary and secondary is that at primary, it does need support of an adult at home. It would be really difficult for your child to work completely on their own through the courses with no adult support, as one would expect given the age of the children. So they are supported courses, and there is some of the lesson plans that are directed to you as the adult to help guide you through supporting your child at home with their learning. But as well as the lesson plans, there are also other things on the courses to help you at home. There are activities for your child to undertake at home. There are textbooks that we physically send to you for the course that you're on, if it comes with a textbook, so that you have some learning away from the screen as well. The courses have things like quizzes on them. It might come with a subscription as well. So you might be, for example, joining Year 4 maths, in which case you would have Times Table Rockstar subscription, for example, to practice timetables at home, because we know how important they are. And there will be tasks for you to do at home as you go through the learning. So it's all online in the sense that the information you need is all available on your course online. But we do like to ensure that there are tasks, activities taking you away from the screen so that your child is not in front of a screen all day, every day. The other really important thing to share with you is that Wolsey Hall does not provide online lessons for their courses. We take a slightly different approach. I mentioned earlier on about ultimate flexibility for you at home. And we don't want to restrict our families who may not be able to ensure that their child is online at a set time, week in, week out, to attend an online live lesson where a teacher is just talking at them for that session. Instead, we provide the videos that you need on the course. And by doing that, it means that you retain the ultimate flexibility of when the right learning time is for your child. Some children are amazing in the morning with their learning. Some children are actually better in the afternoon with their learning. Some children need to work around perhaps other things going on at home. So they actually put together a timetable to suit the time frame to factor in other things. Some of our children have other activities they need to attend. And so by putting the videos on the course itself, rather than giving you a schedule for you to attend online live lessons, you are in control as the family of the learning. The other thing I just want to reference here is assignments. So assignments are a key part of all of our courses, and assignments I'm going to talk about in a little bit more detail in a minute. And the assignments really are the key way that your tutor and your SPM, who I will explain who those people are in a second, but it's the key way that they will be supporting you and checking that the progress is being made by your child as you are working through the courses at home. So I hope that gives you an idea of what you would find on our courses. And also as well, I just want to mention that as well as the courses that you have enrolled onto, we also have a number of free courses as well for all of our students. So if you were joining, for example, in the upper primary phase, there's a little course on plagiarism, owning your own work, to help children understand how they make sure that the work is their own. We have a little internet safety page for you and your child to look through to keep them safe online. We have an orientation course that we assign you to when you join us, and that takes you through all of the pre-starting information that you might need, and also some advice on getting started with your learning at home. So I mentioned both tutors and what I referred to as SPM. So I just want to tell you a little bit more about them. So our tutors are UK qualified teachers with many years of experience working in physical school settings. And their role is twofold with a family. So when you join a course, you are allocated a tutor, and that tutor will be responsible for marking your assignments. So I mentioned that throughout the courses, there will be assignments for your child to complete. These might be every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks, depending on the course. Those assignments that are completed, you submit via the learning platform to Wolsey Hall. And those assignments are looked at by your allocated teacher. And that teacher marks the work, they provide you with a grade, they highlight the areas of strength they can see in your child's work that they are demonstrating, and they will give you some next steps in learning as well. They will also, at the end of that feedback, offer you the opportunity to have a call with them. So if you would like to, you can set up a meeting time to then meet with the tutor, talk a little bit more about the assignment. You might have a question or two about the upcoming learning, or you might actually just want to check how you've been approaching the learning at home and get their advice and some tips from them. So that opportunity is there after each assignment has come in. But also as well, they are available via the learning platform for messaging. So the learning platform has a messaging service within it. So you're able to send an email via the messaging service directly to your tutor to ask them a question, ask for a little bit of advice or a few tips if that is helpful to you, and then they will respond to you via the learning platform. So there are many opportunities to reach out to your tutor, both via submitting assignments and having those marked and feedback given, an opportunity to have a call with your tutor at the end of each of those assignment submissions, and also as well access to them all of the time via the learning platform itself. So that's your tutors. So tutors, you may have more than one. If, for example, you were taking 6 subjects with Wolsey Hall, so you're on 6 courses, it might be that you have 3 different tutors looking after different subjects with you. The other key person for our families is the Student Progress Manager, or SPM. And unlike tutors, where you may have more than one, you would only have one SPM. And your SPM is the first person you will meet at Wolsey Hall following the enrolment with admissions. And they will reach out to you to set up a time to have an online video call with you to talk you through some of the key aspects of Wolsey Hall and to help you prepare to get started with your learning. So I mentioned the assignments that are throughout the course at milestones. One of the things the Student Progress Manager will do is help you to create the timetable for the assignment submissions. So all of our courses have access for 12 months. So you have a 12-month period in which to study your course with Wolsey Hall. However, as we know that an academic year is not 12 months of learning. An academic year is more represented by about 9 to 9.5 months, because we need to factor in that There are holidays. So if you were in a traditional school, you'd have term times, then you'd have holiday times, you'd have half terms. Well, we want to make sure that you have the same flexibility to be able to take breaks from learning, go on holidays, etc. So although our courses will take most people 7 to 9 months to complete, if you were learning all of the time, then we allow access for 12 months to factor in that actually you might want to take some holidays and some breaks in that time. So when you set up your timetable for your assignments, if you already have holidays planned and other things, then you'd share that information with your SPM, and that would be factored in when they put together your assignment schedule for you to help you keep on track with the learning during your time on the course. Your SPM will also be monitoring all of the subjects that your child is taking. So they will be checking that the assignments are coming in for all those subjects. They'll be checking how your child is getting on in those subjects and what the feedback is like, just to ensure that your child is making the progress that is expected across all of their subjects. And they will frequently reach out to you to see how you're getting on as a family and how your child is enjoying their courses. Your SPM is available via email anytime. So you're able to reach out to your SPM anytime you need to ask a question, to query something, to ask for some advice, and they will be delighted to respond to your email and answer those questions or provide the information that you're looking for. And they're your first port of contact at Wolsey Hall. So if you're not sure who to contact, you're not sure who to reach out to, then always start with your SPM, and they will be very happy to either point you in the right direction or to actually resolve whatever question you have. So I hope that gives you an idea. So you've got access to Canvas, you've got your courses online, you've got all of the supplementary things on the courses as well to help make the learning enjoyable and fun at home. Then you've got your tutors that are doing those check-ins every 3 or 4 weeks by looking at the work that's coming in from your child, and you've got your SPM on hand to monitor your child's progress across all of their subjects and to reach out and to help you as and where you need it. So I'd like to introduce you to Abdullah. So Abdullah is just going to give you a flavour of what his life is like as a homeschooling child in primary.
Hi, I'm Abdullah. I'm from Singapore. I study in Wolsey Hall Oxford, doing year 3 and 4. We live near the sea, and this makes us enjoy the nature along with my studies. A typical day for me would be studying, playing, swimming, and spending lots of time with my family. I study maths and English from year 4 and geography, science, and computing from year 3. The day begins with printing out the lesson plans for the day, and after my mom explains them, I do the exercises on my own. Along with the exercises, I also sit with the computer to do activities online provided by Wolsey Hall Oxford. The online activities are interactive, and it helps me to do the subjects like a game, and it's very interesting to me. Along with my regular studies, I get crafting activities from science and geography, which gives me peace of mind, and I take great interest in doing those. My favorite game indoors is to play with building blocks. I love to color when I'm sitting idle. My mom prints out coloring pages, and I love to spend my time coloring them. After studying 1 or 2 subjects, I go out to the playground with with my brothers. Homeschooling has been an amazing experience as I finish my studies in time and get plenty of time to do self-development and build a memorable childhood.
So I hope you enjoyed that video. There's just a couple of things I want to mention from that video that I think help with understanding of how it works here at Wolsey Hall. So the first thing you may have heard is that he's studying subjects at different year groups. So unlike a physical school, where if your child belongs to a year group, then they study all subjects at that year group, irrelevant of what their ability is, then Wolsey Hall, because you're picking subject by subject, you also have flexibility to find the year group that matches the ability of your child with their current learning. So you can be spread across more than one year group. You may have heard him mention that his mum talks him through the lesson plans and the learning for the day. Abdullah is very independent, and you can see that he's developed over his time with Wolsey Hall a great level of independence in terms of taking ownership for some of his learning. But following his mum's support and going through those plans, you can see there was a lovely mixture of online and offline activities that he was doing that day as well. Another thing just to mention there, which again sums up why we don't have online lessons, but instead we put the videos onto the courses directly. You could see he had flexibility as a family to make up what their homeschooling day looked like. So he said there, after one or two lessons, so some days maybe after one lesson, they go and have a break and go and play in the playground. Maybe on some days after two lessons, depending on how Abdullah is feeling about the learning that he's done and how well he's absorbing it. So it does give ultimate flexibility to wrap the learning around your child and their needs. So moving on to our courses, I just want to share what subjects are available at the primary level. So starting with the top block here, these are really representing getting ready for year 1 through to year 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as year groups. So in green, we have English, maths and science, and they're in green because they are considered to be the core subjects. So the most important of the subjects that you learn at primary. So getting ready for year 1 has English and maths available as an academic 1-year course. But English and maths obviously is also available through years 1 to 6 as well. And from year 1 upwards, then science is available too. And these are covering all of the core curriculum needed from English National Curriculum and Cambridge. But there are other subjects available as well. So we have music and French available for year 2 students and up. We have Skills for Life. Skills for Life is a lovely course which is about self-development and personal growth. So there's a lot of mindfulness in there and learning mindfulness techniques for children. And it's learning about your emotions and how to deal with your emotions, as well as how you form relationships with other people as well. We also have art available, which are they are lovely courses, very creative. They are fantastic courses. And we also have for year 2 and year 3 only, we have a supplementary phonics course available for those children that may have some knowledge gaps with their letters and sounds that they make in the English language. We also have speaking and listening in the English language, and this is a new addition to the primary courses. You'll notice that English, maths, and speaking and listening in the English language have an orange border around them, and that is to represent that they are also available at the getting ready for year one stage, so the pre-year one stage. Speaking and listening in the English language is a course of lessons. So we do have a number of students at Wolsey Hall, and it may be because they have some additional needs. It may be because English is not their first language, but that are really looking for opportunities for one-to-one speaking sessions in the English language with a native English speaker who has the expertise to help them develop that skill. So we have a speaking and listening course, which is a course of lessons that students can enroll onto, and that gives you a UK teacher as your speaking partner, and you have a series of one-to-one speaking online live sessions with your teacher to develop those English language speaking skills, which are so important for the development of not just language skills in speaking and listening, but also as well, they actually impact reading and writing as well in the English language. So those are the courses that are available kind of from getting ready for year one through to year six. But in addition to that, for year one and year two, we have a humanities course, and humanities is a combined course of geography and history together to give our youngest learners a sense of where they've come from and their place in the world. And when you get to year three, so that's kind of around 7 years old if you were in a mainstream school. Then we also have computing available. We have history and geography available. But at year three, we actually break down history and geography into their discrete subjects. So it's not combined anymore like it is in year one and year two. And we also have English as a second language. And English as a second language is a great course for any student that is in that bracket of maybe 7 to 11 years old that are still developing their English language skill and perhaps have some gaps in knowledge that would make going on to the English course a little bit difficult. You can join English as a second language as well. And by completing that course, it will make you ready for kind of year three, year four level first language English. So I hope that gives you an idea. All of the information about these courses are on our website. So if you go to the primary section, you can look up each of these subjects and you can read through what the content is for these subjects. And there is also a sample course for each of these subjects as well. So if you go and look at the information, scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see a sample that gives you more information and an overview of what it would look like to be on this course using the Canvas learning platform. So I hope that's helpful. So just a few things I want to double check and make sure that I have shared this with you. So in terms of subject choices, just to say a student can take any number of subjects with Wolsey Hall. We don't say that a student joining Wolsey Hall must take 10 subjects, must take 3 subjects, must take 6 subjects. It's really up to you as a family as to the subjects that you are interested in your child enrolling on. We would always recommend maths, English and science, because they are the core subjects and deemed the most important. If you were using Wolsey Hall as your main source of homeschooling education, we would be recommending that for our lower primary age children, so those under 7 years old, that you are taking a minimum of 3 subjects with Wolsey Hall to make sure that you are providing enough knowledge, skill, and understanding for your child's learning progression. For upper primary students, so for those that are 7+ in age, we would be recommending that you're taking 5 subjects with Wolsey Hall if we are your main source of learning. So the other thing to note is you can add additional subjects at any time. So you can start at any time and you can add at any time. So choosing a year group, because it can be a little bit tricky. So for most of our students, they tend to join their age-appropriate year group. And by that, I mean that if their age is the equivalent of being in year 2, for example, in a mainstream school, they tend to join year 2. However, we do have some students who have a particular interest or ability in certain subjects. So they may be studying at a higher year group in those subjects. And we also have some students that want to consolidate their learning, and the family can see, the parents can see that perhaps they have some gaps in knowledge and understanding in certain subjects and feel that it would really help their child to maybe go through that year group again and pace it as they need to help make sure that their child really does have those foundational building blocks in that subject. And you're able to do any of those things with Wolsey Hall, and our admissions team can help guide you with that and help find the right starting point for your child. We also have a 45-day window, just so that you're aware, for those that do start with Wolsey Hall. From the start of your study with Wolsey Hall, there's a 45-day window that if you found that it really wasn't the right year group for your child, they were either finding it incredibly easy, they were finding it incredibly difficult, or it just isn't suiting them, then there's a 45-day window of time where you can make a change to that course, and your SPM would help you with that. Or it might be that that course is no longer right for you. So how do we monitor progress? So obviously I've mentioned the assignments, and those are submitted and marked by a qualified teacher. Your SPM also is monitoring across all subjects. We also have progress reports to provide you with a reflection of how your child has done in each part of their course. So on primary, our courses are split into 3 parts. So at the end of part 1, you'd get a little progress report from us so that you have some evidence of their learning and their assignments in that part. And then the same for part 2. And then at the end, you get an end of year report from us. We also like to make sure that there is a recognition of your study. So not only with the progress reports that you get, but also as well, we want to recognize students for their work, as well as providing parents with the evidence that may be required to show their child's educational journey. So we have certificates for students. So at the end of each part, they get a certificate to celebrate them completing it. We also have ones for things like great effort. We have wow certificates if they've done something over and above. So there are lots of ways that we celebrate students. And as you can see, at the end of the course, they get something that looks slightly more formal at the bottom there, from Wolsey Hall to celebrate their success. But also as well, we know that parents also need some evidence to demonstrate their child's learning as well. This may be for formal reasons, like you may need this for local authorities or for ministries of education, or this might just be for your record so you can demonstrate the learning should your child transition back into a mainstream school in the future. So as well as the progress report. And this is an example on the screen here. You've got two different reports here to show to you. So one reflects the progress report that you receive at the end of part 1 and at the end of part 2 and at the end of part 3. And the end of year report is a document that actually shows all the subjects that your child studied with Wolsey Hall, and shows what level they studied at and their assignment attainment as well. And that, as if needed, can have the official school stamp on it if it's needed for a more formal purpose. So I hope that gives you a really good flavour of the academics, how we monitor, and how we provide you with documentation to help support the evidence that you may need of your school, of your child's homeschooling journey. But I do just want to finish by mentioning that actually we are more holistic than just the academic courses. We do have a great student community, and in primary, we have a primary community site, and that community site has different clubs that your child can participate in. So those clubs have a challenge every month, and your child can pick and choose, or you can pick and choose as a family which challenges you might like to participate in. So there's things like cooking club, there's a Lego club, there's an art club, there's a book club, there's a chess club. So there are different clubs that you can participate in. And a couple of those clubs, like book club, they have like a monthly meet and greet as well, where they come together as a group to discuss some aspects of the book that they're all reading. And chess as well has a monthly get together to talk about all things chess. So there are other opportunities for students of Wolsey Hall. It's not purely about their academic courses, but also as well for parents, there are opportunities for you to stay informed about what is going on in Wolsey Hall and for you to connect with others. So we have a monthly primary newsletter that goes out to all families, and this shares with you any new courses. We celebrate students in here. We have shout outs to different students all over the world. People send in their photos and their information about other things that their child has been doing outside of Wolsey Hall, so that we can celebrate in that extended success that their child is having. So it's a really lovely newsletter that goes out every month. And we also have an active Facebook page as well. And we have one specifically for primary parents. And this is a great starting point to introduce yourself to the group, find out who else may be interested in making a connection with you. That might be based on interests your child has or the level they're studying at. It might be based on your geographical location. And we do know that the Facebook group is normally the starting point to then be invited to the many, many different WhatsApp groups that parents have started all over the globe to connect with other Wolsey Hall parents and to share experiences and to introduce children to each other as well. So I'm going to pass you back now to Rachel, but I hope that's given you a really good understanding of how primary works and what our courses are like.
Thank you so much, Christine. We will now move on to our question and answers section. So please feel free now to ask any questions you have by typing them into the Q&A area, which you can find at the bottom of your screens. Please do let us know the age and level of education your child is at so that we can tailor our responses. We will answer as many questions as we can in the time available. However, if there are any questions you have after the event, please send an inquiry form via our website. So we will introduce some of your questions submitted into the Q&A into the main discussion for a more detailed explanation. So first of all, Christine, is it possible to assess the child before enrolling?
Yeah, so we do this two ways. So once you reach out to our admissions team by filling in your inquiry form, we have a number of different things that happen. So we send you some information plus sample courses so that you can have a look and see how that sample course suits your child and their current level of understanding. You have a phone call with one of our expert admissions officers, and both of these admissions officers are fully qualified UK primary teachers with years of experience. So they will also help to guide. We have kind of a checklist that we send out for different subjects. So you can answer the questions at home relating to your child to help identify what things they can and can't do, and what things they do know and what things they don't know. And that is sent back to us at Wolsey Hall for the admissions team to look at. And for some of our courses as well, we have kind of a ready placement test as well, which sounds scary. It's not so much a test as an opportunity for either your child, and in some cases it might be you complete that that ready placement check, and the answers to those questions help us to find the starting level for your child. It may even be, if it's really unclear, it may even be that one of our experts, so Becky or Joe, they might even ask you for a little bit of additional information or ask you to send them through something else that will help to guide you to the right starting place for your child. So there are a number of different things we do. We don't have an admissions test, because an admissions test really doesn't do the job that is subject specific, and it doesn't allow for any nuance of different situations and different journeys that a child may have had prior to joining Wolsey Hall.
Thank you, Christine. We've had a couple of questions about how much time is required for a child to spend studying. So, for example, is 5 days a week recommended for each subject, or are some subjects you only do once or twice a week? What's the time required?
Sure. The two largest subjects, which probably comes as no surprise, is maths and English. And our courses are laid out as lessons so that it's really easy for you to see how many lessons should be represented in a week. So maths and English is a lesson a day. Now, whether you choose to do a lesson a day or whether you choose to do 2 lessons in one day is really up to you. You are in complete control of how you decide to work through each of the courses with your child. But the core subjects, if you think about a week of time, the core subjects are represented with about 5 hours of study per week that is required for each of those subjects. And then it goes down to perhaps 2 hours a week, maybe 1 hour a week. It really depends on the subject. However, on our website, we do actually have an overview of the length of time that you should allow for each subject. So when you talk to the admissions team, as part of the information they send back to you, they can send you a link directly to that page if you're not sure where it is, and you'll be able to see how many hours of study is recommended for each subject per week. So I hope that I can't answer the question fully, but some of our, just to put it into context, so some of our students might be doing 2 subjects with Wolsey Hall, but they're doing maths and English. They're doing the 2 big ones, and so they're doing 2 hours a day of study. There might be some students who are doing exactly the same as that, but rather than 2 hours per day, Monday to Friday, they're actually doing 4 hours, 4 hours, and 2 hours. And they're only studying across 3 days of the week because they have commitments elsewhere for 2 of those days. But you are in complete control about what your learning week looks like for you. So I hope that helps.
Thank you, Christine. We've had a question about the platform we use, Canvas. Is there any way that parents can see the platform before enrolling?
So if you go to any of the subjects on the website and open up a subject, for example, maths, I mentioned earlier on that there's a sample for you to look at. If you go to the sample is actually housed on the Canvas learning platform. So you're able to click on the sample, and that will open up an opportunity for you to look through the sample, which is a reflection of the Canvas learning platform. Likewise, there are a couple of other things that you receive. So if you make an inquiry, as part of the process of enrolment, we, for example, share a lovely set of information which is about how to support your child at home. So in preparation for you to think about the things that you might need to get ready for learning at home, and some tips and advice on the strategies you can use to support the learning. So when you get that link and you look at that, that's housed in Canvas. So you'll be looking at the Canvas platform when you're looking through that documentation.
Thank you so much. Now we're running out of time, so I'd like to go to one final question, which I'd like to invite Nissa to come and answer. So the question is, how can I find out more if I still have questions about homeschooling with Wolsey Hall Oxford?
Hello there, thank you, Rachel. If you would like to find out more information about Wolsey Hall and our courses and whether they would be tailored for your children, please complete our inquiry form, which you can access on our website by going to the Contact Us button, which you can see on the screen here. The admissions team would be very happy to hear from you and to help you further. Thank you.
Thank you, Nissa. And I'd like to extend a big thank you to everyone for joining us today. We hope you found the session useful and that it's given you a good understanding of homeschooling with Wolsey Hall Oxford. If you have any further questions, as Nissa said, please do go to our website and submit an inquiry form, and our admissions team would be delighted to help you. So once again, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.